Forget everything you think you know about Batman's limits. I am about to reveal the one horror movie villain that almost broke him for good. The reason he survived will change how you see this character forever. You have to see the final shocking matchup to understand why no one is prepared for this. In a city where the night never ends and the rain feels permanent, a young boy once stood in the glow of shattered pearls and broken echoes. Bruce Wayne, heir to Gotham's wealth, sculpted by privilege, watched his world collapse in an alley no map dares to name. The boy who could have grown into another symbol of luxury instead became a storm. His promise wasn't just to stop crime, it was to erase the very concept of fear from those who spread it. He didn't chase vengeance, he became it. While others looked to gods for justice, Bruce trained to become one. He stripped himself of comfort, buried his humanity beneath willpower, and turned his mind and body into weapons that would make even Olympus jealous. He mastered pain until it forgot how to hurt him. He studied every art of war, from the ancient monasteries of Bhutan to the back alleys of Gotham's underground fight rings. Every bruise was a scripture, every scar a commandment. By the time the world saw him again, he wasn't just Bruce. He was a force stitched together by sleepless nights and impossible discipline. The mask wasn't a disguise, it was a reflection. The Batman wasn't born, he was engineered. And while the world filled with aliens who bend steel and gods who summon storms, Gotham's knight stayed mortal. But mortal doesn't mean weak. Bruce pushed the boundaries of what flesh could do. His body became a contradiction. Human, yet superhuman. He's benched more than 1,000 pounds, shattered reinforced steel with his fists, and sent opponents flying who outweigh him 5 times over. His strikes aren't punches, they're verdicts. His kicks are not reactions, they're calculations. Every move is precision sculpted by obsession. They say Batman is just a man, but if Captain America represents the peak of human potential, then Bruce Wayne is the man who broke that peak and rebuilt it higher. He's endured hits that would turn most men to mist, he's taken punches from gods and risen like it was routine. Wonder Woman's blows, Bane's venom-fueled rampage, Deathstroke's blades all have tried to bury him. Yet Bruce keeps standing, as if pain itself owes him rent. His suit is more than armor. It's an evolution of his paranoia. Shock-resistant plates, heat sensors, electroshock veins that can drop metahumans. Each gadget in his belt is a chapter of survival. Combustive materials that stagger Kryptonians, sonic grenades that melt eardrums, and tranquilizers strong enough to drop beasts from other worlds, all designed not for glory, but for control. But none of that defines him. What truly sets Batman apart isn't muscle or metal, it's mind. His intellect is a labyrinth no enemy ever escapes from. The man doesn't fight opponents, he solves them. Bruce Wayne is the detective who can predict chaos, the tactician who writes tomorrow's headlines before they happen. Martial arts, criminology, chemistry, engineering, he has mastered them all, not for pride, but for purpose. When he fights, it's not strength that wins, it's foresight. He stood against Lady Shiva, Bronze, Tiger, and Karate, kid names whispered in fear among fighters. He doesn't just survive them, he learns from them, adapts, evolves. If a battle lasts too long, it means Bruce is studying. And once he's done studying, the fight is already over. Even the gods of DC have learned to tread carefully. Superman himself admitted it. Batman isn't the strongest or fastest, but he is the most radical. Because in a world of gods, monsters, and miracles, the one thing that terrifies them all is a man who plans for everything. That's the paradox of Bruce Wayne. He's not superhuman, he's something worse. He's proof that willpower can outweigh divinity, that a broken boy in an alley can become the nightmare every nightmare fears. He is not a god, he is not an alien. Darkness has a way of testing legends. And for Batman, the night always finds new shapes to wear, sometimes as gods, sometimes as ghosts, and sometimes as the monsters that haunt every shadow. The first to crawl from the abyss is the Lakeshore Strangler himself, Chucky, a twisted life-taker trapped inside a child's toy, armed with blades and a filthy mouth that never sleeps. For any ordinary man, that would be a nightmare come alive. But Batman's seen worse than nightmares. He's fought puppets before men with split minds and wooden mouths. To Bruce, Chucky isn't a threat. He's clutter, a moving target with sharp edges. The doll lunges, cursing and slashing, but the Bat's armor doesn't even register the cuts. One grappling hook, one calculated throw, and the Life-Taker doll is nothing but a boxed artifact in the Batcave, silent at last. Then comes the shape Michael Myers, the pure embodiment of evil, a silent avalanche in human form. Bullet don't stop him, fire doesn't scare him. But to Batman, that kind of persistence isn't horror, it's routine. Gotham breeds monsters like him by the dozen. Bane, Deathstroke, Life-Taker, Croc, each stronger, faster, meaner. Bruce has studied them all, learned their rhythms, their tells. With motion sensors tracking every step and thermal lenses cutting through darkness, Batman flips the roles. The hunter becomes the hunted. And when the moment comes, one high-voltage surge through that pale mask ends the myth of the boogeyman for good. But what about something inhuman, something born not from madness, but design? The xenomorph, the perfect organism, carved from nightmares, dripping acid, and intelligence. It's not theory to Batman. He's been there. In the jungle, he studied their biology, survived their swarm, and built armor that defied their corrosive blood. He used silence as a weapon and shadows as allies, turning their hive instinct against them. Against Marines, they're gods. Against the world's greatest tactician, they're just data points waiting to be exploited. Acid meets composite plating, claws meet strategy. The perfect organism finds out what perfection really means. Then comes Art the Clown Chaos in Flesh, the walking punchline of hell, a supernatural life-taker that dances in blood and grins through death. He resurrects and laughs at logic, but Bruce Wayne knows laughter too well. He's lived his life in the echo of the Joker's laugh, dissected it, outsmarted it, buried it 1,000 times. Art's gore, his resurrection, his theater of horror, it's all a performance Batman's already seen. He doesn't fight the spectacle, he ends the script. He traces the power, reanimating the clown, isolates it, and severs it at the root. Immortality is only a trick until Batman finds the mechanism. Then it's just another failed experiment. But then, the ground shakes. A shadow rises from Crystal Lake. Jason Voorhees, the juggernaut of vengeance, an undead storm. His body refuses to die. His rage has no end. Yet even this monster has a mirror in Batman's world. Solomon Grundy, the immortal, born on a Monday, whose strength cracks concrete and whose corpse never stays buried. Bruce has dismantled him again and again, every time using knowledge, not brute force. Jason's strength means nothing to Titanium Weave. His weapon will snap on impact. And when he falls, Batman will mark the data, prepare the countermeasure, and ensure Jason's return ends before it begins. But now, from the heat and shadow of alien stars, comes a different kind of hunter, the Predator, a master of evil, cloaked in technology, armed with plasma and pride. He doesn't unalive for hunger, he unalive for sport. And yet, in the pages of legend, Batman has already beaten him. Wounded, bleeding, outmatched in firepower, and he still won. With heat dampeners masking his presence, with traps built from instinct, Bruce turned the jungle into his domain. The Predator came for a trophy, and left with respect, because when all his tech failed, Batman was still standing. Bruised? Yes, but victorious. Then comes a nightmare that doesn't need a body, Freddy Krueger, the Dream Stalker. He doesn't come through doors, he seeps into thought. How do you fight something that unalive you while you sleep? Bruce already knows. His mind is a fortress. He's fought Scarecrow's toxins, mind control from Mad Hatter, psychic invasions from Martians. He meditates, trains in lucid awareness, and even equips his cowl with neuromonitors to detect REM distortions. When Freddy enters his dreams, he finds no victim, only a predator waiting for him. Freddy controls fear, but Batman is fear. In that dream, Bruce doesn't run. He becomes the thing even Freddy dreads, the nightmare of nightmares. And deeper still, something older awaits. The Hell Priest Pinhead, a being of rules bound by the geometry of the damned, his chain sliced through dimensions. His voice carries the law of hell. But Batman has walked the occult path before alongside Constantine, Zatanna, and the mystics of the League Dark. He's sealed relics, contained demons, mapped the patterns of possession, the lament configuration. Just another puzzle box to a detective whose life is built on solving the unsolvable. Batman would study its code, find the loophole, and turn the gate of hell back on itself. Because even in the underworld, rules are rules, and Batman is their greatest exploiter. And finally, the oldest fear of all Pennywise, the dancing clown, a cosmic parasite from the Macroverse, feeding on terror, warping reality, twisting perception. He becomes what you fear most, but Batman has faced fear, dissected it, weaponized it. Scarecrow's toxins couldn't break him, gods couldn't shatter him. The universe itself could collapse, and Bruce would still stand in the rubble, unflinching. Pennywise draws power from fear, but Batman feels none. The moment the clown realizes that, his illusion fades. Without fear, Pennywise isn't a god, he's just a whisper, and Bruce Wayne silences whispers. In the end, every monster falls, not because Batman is stronger, but because he's prepared. He learns them, breaks them, outsmarts them. Each horror, from the smallest doll to the cosmic fiend, finds the same truth written in the dark. They feed on fear, he is fear, and when the night ends, the monsters return to legend. But Batman remains the shadow that shadows fear itself. Because when evil looks under its bed, it doesn't find ghosts or ghouls. It finds him, the Batman. So now you know how the Dark Knight conquers the dark. Tell me which horror villain you thought stood the best chance against him. I want to know which monster you would send after Batman next. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Follow for more dark breakdowns that challenge everything you know about your favorite hero.